Good morning, everyone. Uh, in this lecture, we are going to discuss about the basics of diode and what are the different kind of diodes and how it works. Okay, so already we have studied about some basics of diode. That diode is a basic, semiconductor device, or you can say semiconductor component, which is made up of semiconductor materials. And the semiconductor materials, it may be a silicon or germanium. Basically, these two are most popular material which is used for semiconductor devices or to construct the different kind of power electronic components. So in this lecture, we will discuss about that what is diode and what are the different type of diodes. Okay. So before going on this lecture, we want to discuss about the course objective of this lecture. That the course of objective of this lecture to introduce the students about the different kind of semiconductor devices and different kind of you know diodes, and what are the construction of diode and how it behave when it is used for switching. So these are the basic objective of this course. And after this course, I'm expecting from student that student will be able to understand the basics of diode and its construction, about its symbol and its VI characteristic. Right. So let's start with our uh, uh, content. That this is the content of this lecture, that diodes, electrical properties of solid semiconductors, PN junctions, semiconductor diodes, special purpose diode, and diode circuits. So the review of physical principle of operation of semiconductor device, which is based on your thermal management, and in power semiconductor devices, power diodes, power MOSFETs, power the IGBT, and high power low frequency semiconductor devices. Okay, so now we will come to the point that what is your semiconductor device. So let's have a look. Uh, Basically, we will discuss in this lecture what is your signal diode. Actually, signal diode, there are different kind of diodes, and one of them is your signal diode. So the semiconductor signal diode is a small non-linear semiconductor device generally used in electronic circuits where small currents or high frequencies are involved, such as in radio, television, and digital logic circuits. So, a signal diode in the form of the point contact diode or the glass passivated diode are physically very small in size and compared to their large power diode cousins. So, what is basically a signal diode? And you can say that generally, the PN junction of a small signal diode is encapsulated in glass to protect the PN junction, and usually have a red or black band at one end of their body to help identify which ends in the cathode terminal. And the most widely used of all the glass encapsulated signal diode is the very common 1N4148 and its equivalent 1N914 signal diodes. So small signal and switching diodes have much lower power and current ratings around. This is all about the ratings of signal diode, which is having very low and high ratings. So if you talk about the rating of signal diode, which is not very high, it is low. So it is 150 milliamperes and 500 megawatt. And these are the maximum which is compared to rectified diodes, but they can function better in high frequency applications. Okay, or in clipping and clipping circuits and switching applications that deal with short duration pulse waveform, because these are very, low current and voltage device, low current and voltage a semiconductor diode, which is signal diode. So it can be used in high frequency application. High frequency application, that if you are using a signal diode like a switch, so you can on and off this diode very frequently. Okay, and it can be used for your clipping circuit. Clipping means that you are going to cut some signal from a waveform, or you can say that you are going to cut some waveform. So that is your clipping circuit, where you can easily use the signal diodes, because if you talk about high frequency, then what is happening? Frequently you are switching on and off a switch, okay? Turning on and turning off the switch. And as a switch, if you are using a diode, so what will happen at the time of switching? There is some voltage and current which appear across the diode or PN junction. So what is happening? If simultaneously there is a voltage and current, what will happen? The voltage and current will multiply to each other, and there will be some losses. So what we required that the voltage drop and the uh, current should be minimum at the time of switching of any switch or diode. Okay, so because this is having a very low rating, so it is very easy to use signal diode as a switch or switching or high frequency applications. Now, let's come to the basic characteristics of signal diode. So, what is the basic characteristic of a signal diode? The characteristic of a signal point contact diode are different for both germanium and silicon types and are given as germanium signal diodes. So, these have a low reverse resistance value, giving a lower forward voltage drop. Actually, we have already discussed about the VI characteristic of diode. So what is happening that if you apply if you apply positive voltage across the P terminal, and you connect the negative terminal of the battery to the N terminal of the diode, so diode becoming in your forward biasing. And in that case, that what will happen? Because when we take a structure of diode. So in between P and junction, when you are not applying any kind of voltage, there will be some potential barrier. So if you want to conduct the diode, then first you have to break that potential barrier, and after breaking that potential barrier, the diode will start to conduct. So the voltage which is the voltage which is appearing across the barrier, that is your a forward biasing voltage or forward voltage drop. After that, after getting that much voltage across the diode, the diode will be able to conduct. So what I'm trying to say, or what I'm trying to explain over here, that according to material, like if you are using germanium or if you are using silicon, so there is different forward biasing voltage for different materials. Okay, so let's talk about your germanium signal diode. So what is your germanium signal diodes? So these have a low reverse resistance value, giving a lower forward voltage draw across the junction, typically only about zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.3 volt. But if you are having a higher forward resistance value because of their small junction area. So if you talk about your silicon signal diode, because it is made up of silicon, so these have a very high value of reverse resistance and give a forward voltage drop of about 0.6 to 0.7 volt across the junction. So they have fairly low values of forward resistance, giving them high peak values of forward current and reverse voltage. So the you can say that the forward voltage drop for the germanium is 0.2 to 0.3 volt, and the forward voltage drop for silicon diode is your 0.6 to 0.7 volt. So these are the basic difference between germanium and silicon, and sometimes some question or objective questions is asked, which is based on this forward biasing voltage, and there may be some numerical problems which is also based on your germanium and silicon diode. So next we come to the vi characteristic of diode. So the electronic symbol given for any diode is that of an arrow. Okay, so you can represent the diode by using a symbol, which is your arrow symbol, and the diode is that of an arrow with a bar or line at its end, and this is illustrated below along with the steady state vi characteristic curve. So from the diagram, it is easy to understand that what is the symbol of diode. So you can see that this is your PN junction, and the P terminal is called your anode, which is positive, and the K terminal, which is negative, and this is called your cathode. So this is the symbol of diode, where you can see the positive terminal is always represented by arrow, and the negative terminal is always represented by bar. Okay, so this is your diode. If you talk about its hardware, so it looks like that. It looks like that. Okay, so this is your diode. Now let's come to the vi characteristic of diode. So you can see over here that vi characteristic means that you are drawing a characteristic between voltage and current, right? And you are taking voltage across your x axis, and you are taking current at your y axis. Okay, now let's talk about your forward biasing and reverse biasing. So you can see that in the forward biasing condition, you can see that what is happening that the voltage after some voltage, if the and if you want that diode must be conducted, so what you have to do, you have to connect the anode terminal to the positive supply, and you have to connect the negative terminal to the cathode. So you can see that the positive supply is connected to the anode terminal, and a negative supply is connected to the cathode terminal. So only allowing current to flow through it in one direction only. So acting more like a one-way electrical wall. So diode will always behave like that. It is the current which is flowing only in one direction, so it will behave like that. The current is flowing in only in one direction. Okay, so this is your forward bias current because the P terminal is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, and N terminal is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. Now let's come to the next point, which is your reverse biasing. So in reverse biasing, you can see that however, we know from the previous tutorial that if we connect the external energy source in the other direction, the diode will block any current flow. Okay, if you connect the positive terminal of the diode to the negative terminal of the battery and the negative terminal of the diode to the positive terminal of the battery, then you will see that diode will not conduct. So either diode is blocking your current, so you can say the the mode in which diode is blocking the current flowing through it, this is called your reverse bias condition. So in this case, the diode will behave like a open switch. Open switch means there is some voltage which is you are applying across the diode, but diode is not able to conduct. Okay, so there is no current through the diode, so that is called your reverse bias condition. Now, let's come to the next point. So you can see that forward and reverse bias condition. This is your forward biasing, and this is your reverse bias condition. So what is happening over here? That in forward biasing, the positive terminal is connected to the positive terminal, and negative terminal of battery is connected to the negative, or you can say cathode of the diode. So in this structure, diode is like a closed switch. Okay, so now let's talk about the reverse biasing. So in reverse biasing condition, you can check that the diode is behaving like a open switch because the positive terminal of the diode is connected to the negative terminal of the diode, and the negative terminal of the diode is connected to the positive terminal of the diode. So then we can say that an ideal small signal diode conducts current in one direction, that is your forward conducting, and blocks current in the other direction, that is your reverse blocking. So signal diodes are used in a wide variety of applications such as switch in rectifiers, current limiters, voltage snubbers, or in wave shaping circuits. So signal diodes parameters. Signal diodes are manufactured in a range of voltage and current ratings. In the previous slide, I told you that the diode, which is a signal diode, having very low range of current and voltage, so it can be used for switching purpose. Because in switching purpose or high frequency purpose, the losses will be less. Okay, so the signal diodes are manufactured in a range of voltage and current rating, and care must be taken when choosing a diode for a certain applications, because the rating is very important of any component which you are using in any circuit or in any other place, because without rating you will not be able to decide that how much voltage how that ho- till how much voltage it is able to tolerate, or how much current can flow into the diode. For example, if a diode is having 150 milliampere rating, okay, and the voltage rating is your 200 millivolt, and if you connect this diode where the supply voltage is your, 200 volt or 150 volt, and then what will happen, that it will if you apply that much voltage across this diode, the diode will get damaged. So there must be remembering this thing, that you always considered you must always consider the rating of any electrical or electronic component, so you can save that component or any equipment for from damage. Okay, so this is your signal diodes. Now let's talk about that the maximum current. Okay, the maximum current which can flow through the signal diode. So the maximum forward current, and you know what is forward current? When diode is in forwarding bias, then the P junction, P point of the diode is connected to the positive terminal of the diode, and the negative terminal of the diode is connected to the negative terminal of the diode. So the maximum forward current is, as its name implies, that maximum forward current allowed to flow through the device. So which is in your forward biasing current. That's why this is called your this. That's why this is denoted by IF. F means forward and max means maximum. The forward maximum current which is flowing in the case of forward biasing condition, that is called your maximum forward current. So when the diode is conducting in the forward bias condition, it has very small on resistance across the PN junction, because the current is flowing, very not high, but maximum. Okay, the maximum current which is flowing through the diode in the condition of forward biasing condition. So what happened basically? The resistance across the PN junction, and therefore power is dissipated across the junction. You know that V is equal to IR. So if there is a current, the value of that current is suppose I, and there will be some voltage, obviously. So the resistance will be R is equal to V by I. So the resistance in the case of forward biasing will be very less. So almost V is proportional to I. So because the resistance is very low, and uh, therefore power will be dissipated across the junction. So according to the Ohm's law, which is V is equal to IR. So IR is the power dissipation in the form of heat. So the exceeding its maximum value will cause more heat to be generated across the junction, and the diode will fail due to thermal overloading. So that is your thermal overloading. Thermal means it is always related to temperature, right? So if you are exceeding, suppose a diode is constructed that it can't uh, bear the current above a particular value. If you if you allow that diode, okay, you can say, if you are forcing that diode to flow the current for if you are forcing that diode to flowing the current of its maximum capacity, so what will happen? Diode will be break down. Okay, so why it is happening? Because according to Ohm's law, when the current is flowing through the diode, there will be some resistance which may be small, but V is proportional to I, so V is equal to I. So there will be some heat dissipation. Okay, so there will be some heat dissipation, and then exceeding its value will cause more heat to be generated across the junction, and the diode will fail due to thermal overload. So this is usually with the destructive consequences. Okay, now, let's talk about when operating diodes around their maximum current rating. It is always best to provide additional cooling to dissipate the heat produced by the diode. So, if you want to protect the diode for damaging or thermal breakdown, so what you have to do, that you have to take some precautions, or you have to uh, uh, cooling. You have to provide some additional cooling to the diode, So heat dissipation can be reduced, and diode can safely operated. Okay. So for example, if we are taking a small 1N4148 signal diode, actually 1N4148, this is the number of diode by which you can get the signal diode. So this is representing the diode. So 1N4148 signal diode has a maximum current rating of about 150 milliampere with a power dissipation of 500 megawatt at 25 degree centigrade, which is at your room temperature. So then a resistor must be used in series with the diode to limit the power flow. Okay. So if you want to limit the current, then you can take another option, that you can connect one one series resistance with the diode, because in previous slide we discussed that there will be some heat dissipation across the diode just because of Ohm's law. So if you want to protect that diode from heat dissipation, so there is another option. You can use one series resistance which you can connect in series with the diode, which can save the diode. Okay. And the second option is that you have to provide some cooling to the diode to prevent it from heat dissipation or to get damaged. Now we will talk about that what is your peak inverse voltage. So what is the peak inverse voltage? The peak inverse voltage or maximum reverse voltage is the maximum allowable reverse operating voltage that can be applied across the diode without reverse breakdown and damage occurring to the device. So this rating therefore is usually less than the avalanche breakdown and the level on the reverse by a characteristic curve. So typical value of VR range maximum from a few volts to thousand of volts and must be considered when replacing a diode. So you can say that the peak inverse voltage, the peak inverse voltage or maximum reverse voltage is the maximum allowable reverse operating voltage that can be applied across the diode without reverse breakdown. Okay. So in the characteristic, we saw that, yeah. So this is your reverse breakdown voltage. Okay. Because you are continuously increasing the voltage across the reverse direction of the you are continuously increasing the voltage in the reverse direction of the diode. So what is happening? It will break down at a particular point and the current will start to flow into the reverse biasing. So you can see that the peak inverse voltage or maximum reverse voltage is the maximum allowable reverse operating voltage that can be applied across the diode without reverse breakdown. So, peak inverse voltage means that that point, before that point, okay, before that point, that is your peak inverse voltage. Because at this point or after this point, voltage, the voltage will break down and the current will start to increase. So we don't want to flow the current into the reverse direction, because after breakdowning the voltage, the current is sharply increasing and which can damage the diode. So this is all about your peak inverse voltage. So what is happening? The rating therefore is usually less than the avalanche breakdown level on the reverse bias. Like if you are taking a voltage, reverse bias voltage breakdown voltage is suppose 15 volt. Okay, so the rating of that signal diode will be 14. Okay, which is always less than to its reverse peak inverse voltage or reverse breakdown voltage. So and damage occurring to the device. So this rating therefore is usually less than the avalanche breakdown level on the reverse bias characteristic curve. Typical values of VR max range from a few volts to thousands of volts and must be considered when replacing a diode. So the peak inverse voltage is an important parameter and is mainly used for rectifying diode in AC rectifier circuits with reference to the amplitude of the voltage where the sinusoidal waveform changes from a positive to a negative value on each and every cycle. Now let's talk about the total power dissipation. So what is your total power dissipation? So signal diodes have the total power. This rating is the maximum possible power dissipation of the diode when it is in forward bias. Okay, so when current flows through the signal diode, the biasing of the PN junction is not perfect and offers some resistances to the flow of current, resulting in power being dissipated in the diode in the form of heat. Okay, so now I think you are able to understand that what is your power dissipation. So power dissipation means that this is the rating which is maximum possible power dissipation means the voltage and current which can be maximum which can appear across the diode, that is a power dissipation, which is equal to V into I. So when current flows through the signal diodes, the biasing of the PN junction is not perfect and offer some resistance to the flow of current. So resulting there will be some dissipation or heat dissipation or loss in the diode. So as the small signal diodes are non-linear devices, the resistance of the PN junction is not constant. So it is a dynamic property. Then we cannot use Ohm's law to define the power in terms of current and resistance or voltage and resistance as we can for resistors. So then to find the power that will be dissipated by the diode, we must multiply the voltage drop across it um, times the current flowing through it. So power dissipation across the diode is PD. PD is equal to V into I. So maximum operating temperature, the maximum operating temperature is the temperature actually relates to the junction temperature of diode and is related to the maximum power dissipation. It is the maximum temperature allowable before the structure of the diode deteriorates and is expressed in units of degrees centigrade per watt per degree centigrade per watt. So this value is linked closely to the maximum forward current of the device so that at its value the temperature of the junction is not exceeded. So however the maximum forward current will also depend upon the ambient temperature in which the device is operating. So the maximum forward current is usually quoted for two or more ambient temperatures and values such as 25 degrees centigrade or 70 degrees centigrade. So, according to this previous discussion, now you are easily able to understand that the rating of diode is dependent upon the reverse voltage, forward current, and the power dissipation. So then there are three main parameters that must be considered whether you are selecting or replacing a signal diode. So these parameters are your reverse voltage rating. Okay, so we have already discussed that what is your reverse voltage, and next one is your forward current. Forward current rating means the maximum current which can flow through the diode in forward biasing condition. And the reverse voltage rating means the maximum current which can be tolerated by the diode in when you apply a negative or reverse voltage across the diode. So when you are replacing the diode in any circuit or in any equipment, so first you have to consider these three 3 points of the diode. Where one is your reverse voltage rating, another one is your forward current rating, and third one is your forward power dissipation rating. So what is your signal diode array, which is very important and it is very interesting point. So when space is limited, right? When space is limited or matching pairs or switching signal diodes are required. So what you have to do, you connect diode like this. Okay. So you can see that or matching pairs or switching signals diodes are required. Diode arrays can be very useful. So they generally consist of low capacitance, high speed silicon diodes, such as the 1N4148, that is the number of signal diode, connected together in multiple diode packages called an array for use in switching and clamping in digital circuits. So they are cased in single line inline packages SIP. This is the full form of SIP, which is your single inline packages containing four or more diodes connected internally to give either an individual isolated array, common cathode, or a common anode configuration as shown. So you can check that these are the array diodes in which you can see that these are connected to each other with a common line, and it is looking very nice. So that is your SIP. Okay. And anode is connected to anode, cathode is connected to cathode. So there are 8 individual diodes. Now this is your when you are taking common anode point, so you can see that this is your common anode P in. These are the 8 individual common anode diodes. And this is your common cathode where you have to connect all the cathode terminal in a one terminal or one point. That is your common cathode P in. So these are the 8 individual common cathode diodes in single line. So that is your SIP configuration, or you can say single diode array. Now let's come to the next part. Signal diode arrays can also be used in digital and computer circuits to protect high-speed data lines or other input or output parallel ports against electrostatic discharge and voltage transients. By connecting two diodes in series across the supply rails with the data line connected to their junction as shown, any unwanted transients are quickly dissipated and as the signal diodes are available in 8-fold arrays, they can protect 8 data lines in a single package. So signal diodes array can also be used to connect together in either series or parallel combination to form voltage regulator or voltage reducing type circuits, or even to produce a known fixed reference voltage. So this is your CPU data line protection. Okay. So data line or input output port, TTL CMOS. So we know that the forward voltage drop across a silicon diode is about 0.7 volt, and by connecting together a number of diodes in series, the total voltage will drop will be the sum of individual voltage drop of each diode, because you know the voltage is always divided into the series combination, and it always remains same in your uh, parallel combination. Okay. So you can say when you are connecting many diodes in a series, the voltage drop across the diode will be increased because it will be the sum of any of each and every individual diode. Now, if you however, when signal diodes are connected together in series, the current will be the same for each diode, so the maximum forward current must not be exceeded. So two things you have to remember when you are connecting diodes in series, that the current will remain same, so you can't exceed the current rating, or you can't exceed the forward maximum forward current rating in the diode. And in this case, you can exceed the voltage drop across the diode, because the voltage drop across the diode will be the sum of individual diode sum of individual voltage drop of each diode. So connecting signal diodes in series, another applications for the small signal diode is to create a regulated voltage supply. So diodes are connected together in series to provide a constant DC voltage across the diode combination. So the output voltage across the diodes remain constant in spite of changing in the load current drawn from the series combination, because current will remain always be same when you are connecting the diode in the series, and it will provide you a constant DC voltage. So changes in the DC power supply voltage that feeds them. Consider the circuit below. That you can see that this is your signal diodes in series. So you can check that you are connecting these diode in series. So the voltage drop across the forward voltage drop is your uh, 0.7 volt. When these two diodes are connected in series, the voltage drop across the diode will be, you know, the sum of these individual diodes. So it will become 0.7 volt plus 0.7 volt, it become 1.4 volt. And the total voltage you are applying across this diode is your 100 volt. So this is your 100 minus 0.7 volt. So the voltage drop across this diode is your 9.3 volt. If you talk about the diode 2, the voltage across this you are applying, that is your, you know, uh, you can take 9.3 minus 0.7, or you can take 10 minus 1.4, because you are taking the combination of these two diodes. So the voltage at this point will be your 8.6 volt, and the voltage across this point, okay, if you talk about diode D3, so the voltage drop across 10 minus 2.1, which is equal to 7.94. Okay. So now how you can connect the signal diodes in series, okay, and you are applying 10 volt over here. Now let's talk about you know the now let's talk about the diode, that is when you are connecting series resistance at this point. Okay, so the diode current is equal to the diode current is equal to 10 minus this voltage drop divided by R. Okay. So, and the voltage drop across this diode will be 2.1 volt. So, as the forward voltage drop across a silicon diode is almost constant at about 0.7 volt, while the current through it varies by relatively large amounts, a forward biased signal diode can make a simple voltage regulating circuit. So the individual voltage drop across each diode are subtracted from the supply voltage to leave a certain voltage potential across the diode resistor, and in our simple example above, this is given as 10 minus 3 into 0.7, which is equal to 7.9 volt. So this is because each diode has a junction resistance relating to the small signal current flowing through it, and the three signal diodes in series will have three times the values of this resistance along with the load resistance R forms a voltage divider across the supply. So by adding more diodes in series, it will be a greater voltage reduction will occur. So also series connected diode can be placed in parallel with the load resistor to act as a voltage regulating circuit. So here the voltage applied to the load resistor will be 3 into, if you are taking 3 diodes, and the voltage drop across the diode will be 3 into 0.7 volt, which is equal to 2.1 volt. So we can of course produce the same constant voltage source using a single Zener diode. So resistance RD is used to prevent excessive current flowing through the Zener diode if the load is removed. So you can check in this diagram that we are using a one resistance diode. So this is using for to removing the extra burden to the diode. Okay. So this is because of each diode has a junction resistance relating to the small signal current which is flowing through it, and the three signal diodes in series will have three times the value of this resistance along with the load resistance R, forms a voltage divider across the supply. Now let's talk about freewheeling diode. So this term you have listened many times and which is very important, and in further units or in further studies of electronics devices, you will see freewheeling diode in many circuits. So if you understand that what is freewheeling diode, it would be easy for you to understand the converter circuits and other inverter circuit where we are using freewheeling diode. So let's talk about your freewheeling diode. So freewheeling diode is signal diodes can also be used in a variety of clamping, protection, and wave shaping circuits, with the most common form of clamping diode circuit being one which uses a diode connected in parallel with a coil or inductive load to prevent damage to the delicate switching circuit by suppressing the voltage spikes or transient that are generated when the load is suddenly turned off. So suddenly, suppose let's take an example. Suppose your load is inductive, okay, and inductive load means that there is inductor or coil. So what is the property of coil? Coil is always oppose the sudden current change in the circuit. So basically what is happening when you are suddenly connecting the, when you are suddenly turning on or off the device, then what will happen? There will be some voltage spike which will appear across the inductor. So to protect this inductor for that from that voltage spike that will get damaged, what we do, we connect our diode across the inductor. So when sudden current change is occur, the current or energy which is stored in the inductor, which is going to dissipate it through the diode. So that is your basically freewheeling diode, and you can use that signal diode as a freewheeling diode. So let's discuss about the concept of freewheeling diode. So there, suppressing the voltage spikes and transients that are generated when the load is suddenly turned off. So this type of diode is generally known as a freewheeling diode. And flywheel diode, or simply freewheel diode as it is more commonly called. Now, the freewheel diode is used to protect solid state switches such as power transistors and MOSFETs from damage by reverse battery protection, as well as protection from highly inductive loads such as relay coils or motors. And an example of its connection is shown below. So use of the freewheeling diode. So this is the freewheeling diode in which you can see that the inductor of coil, and protection against inductive loads, and free wheel diode. And this is your inductor, and you are using freewheeling diode across the MOSFET. So signal diode is can be used in both the cases. If your load is inductive, then you can use a freewheeling diode or signal diode parallel with this inductor. If you're using MOSFET, and if you want to protect that MOSFET, so you can also use a freewheeling diode across the MOSFET, right? So this is all about your signal diode. So modern fast switching power semiconductor devices require fast switching diodes, such as freewheeling diodes, to protect them from inductive loads such as motor coils or relay windings. So every time the switching devices above is turned on, the freewheeling diode changes from a conducting state to a blocking state as it becomes reversed bias. So, however, when the device rapidly turns off, the diode becomes forward biased, and the collapse of the energy stored in the coil causes a current to flow through the freewheeling diode. So, without the protection of the freewheeling diode, high di by dt currents would occur, because the current di by dt means that the current is changing with the time. So, the change in current with the time, that is causing a high voltage spike across the diode, or you can say there will some transient occurs. So it can damage your switching device. So protect that switching device, you can use the freewheeling diode. So these are the basic, basic terms that we can use: transistor, which is a three-layer device, and four-layer device. So these are the different semiconductor devices, and we will study in our next lecture about these devices. And in the next tutorial about diodes, we will look at the large signal diode, sometimes called the power diodes. So power diodes are silicon diode designed for use in high voltage, high current means rectification circuit. So there is, different type of diodes. One is signal diode, and one is your power diode. So when you don't know about the basics of these diodes, then you won't be able to understand the power electronics. So first you have to understand that what is your signal diode, what are the rating of signal diode, how can you use this signal diode, and where you can use these signal diodes. Okay. And next one is your power diode. So basic difference I want to tell you between the signal and power diode, that the signal diode rating is lower as compared to power diode. So diode is a two-terminal PN junction that can be used in various applications. One of such application is an electrical switch. So the PN junction, when forward biased, acts as closed circuited, and when reverse biased, acts as an open circuited. Hence, the change of both forward and reverse bias states makes the diode work as a switch. So the forward being on and the reverse being off state. So these are the references where you can go through and you know learn about the diode. And these are some basic MCQs which is based on the this lecture. So after doing these uh, questions, you will be able to understand that what is diode, and it would be easy to understand that what is diode. So thank you.